Humans believe that we have consciousness, but actually we don't have consciousness. What we have is awareness, and people assume awareness to be the consciousness. It's like if someone is an observer, so we assume that to be consciousness, that person is no more engaging with life, no more entangling with life, but observing life. So we say this person now has higher consciousness because he is in a no mind state. He is in silence, he is in peace, he is in desireless state. But that's not consciousness, that is awareness. And of course your awareness can be in a place of no thought state internally, and awareness can be in a place where you can reach to the farthest reach of the universe externally. So this awareness can be internal as well as external. And for different people it happens in different ways. For some people they feel the whole universe has come within them. Not that the universe comes within them, their awareness expands to such an extent that they encompass the whole universe and it feels to be all within them. So now she made one statement that because I asked her, after you went back, what was it that your husband felt about the conversation? I know the way she is, you are not that. The way she is connecting, you are connecting from a place of observation, from a place of analysis, from a place of a distance. She is absorbing it by trying to come as near to me as she can. You are trying to maintain your distance and trying to absorb everything that is being said. So there are two different approaches to the same thing happening. And you probably might have made, or that is what I felt you might have said, that it's the same truth. There is nothing new in it except for a few things, like maybe there is a king and maybe there is a few other things. And then I asked her, what does your husband mean by truth? Now I put that question to you.
So, I don't know, so to tell it very concisely, right?
Yeah.
So even when I was a kid, all of this didn't seem real. So
The world you mean?
The world.
Yes.
The world, the people, the things that we do, right? How it's oriented. None of it really felt real, but I couldn't figure out what the underlying reality was. So even though I was this little kid, born and brought up in Jubilee Hills, going to the schools there, the only festering thought always in the mind was, what is all this, right? So I used to go to school, sit in the class, listen to whatever, right? But then not really listen. And that's just maintain a distance with everything and everyone. But with the only fundamental question being, what is behind all of this, right? And process, very many gurus have come, they told very many great things, right? All of them made sense. But then the experience wasn't there per se, right? And then I went to the US for my studies, for my undergraduate studies. Then US was great because it left me alone, right? So I could spend a lot of time with myself, just observe more and more of the internal patterns, right? And then finally, even all of that didn't essentially give me the experience. It just gave me the vocabulary, right? And all of the great sayings, right? And the different modalities and all of this, but with no experience whatsoever. And it so happened at one point in time, I got so frustrated. I said, look, this is a life of failure. I have pursued one path and I'm no success here either. I only know this garbage vocabulary more and more and more with no experience, right? And out of sheer frustration, so I used to meditate quite a bit. I used to read quite a bit and do all of that, right? One fine day, I said, this is garbage. I'm going to stop all of this thing. I took all of my spiritual books, my only asset I collected all over my lifetime, right? The books, threw them in the recycle bin, and I said, this is it, I'm done with this. And slowly a shift started happening, where whatever was described by all these very many great gurus and all of the scriptures that were read, that started to come into being, into a sense of experience. Then I said, wow, so this is what all of these people have been talking about, but still on the boundary of mind and that, whatever that is, right? So fall into the mind, be there for a long time, but then experience this, right? Then come back into the mind and experience it, then from the mind perspective trying to make
sense
it, then try to how I can very cleverly, right, cunningly move into that space, right? And so this thing went on by itself, right? And then, so finally it settled. It settled, yes. This is all there is. This is all it ever was, right?
So what I'm getting is, you were on a quest and the quest ended. The quest ended with no answer. The quest ended with no great revelation. The quest ended with no answer, no revelation, and no, there's a third thing. Okay, it is not coming. Fine. So basically you got sorted out. And sorted out just means that there is nothing that is currently disturbing you and creating any kind of movement in terms of some wanting.
The only caveat to that would be, it is not that there is no movement, that it is sorted out, no. Because, like I said, the person Arvind that I knew, he left, right? But he keeps coming, right? Every now and then, under certain circumstances, certain situations, it arises, right? It does some...
But when it arises, does it create any kind of quest?
It doesn't create quest.
And that's the point.
Right.
No question, no quest, no journey. It just arises as a character, and maybe it's angry, maybe it is frustrated, maybe it is sad,
Correct.
Maybe it is not okay, and then it again falls down.
I think that would be it.
But arising of the character and the falling of the character is just happening in time and space, but not creating any kind of passionate journey to getting an answer to what is all this, why all this. So my question back to is only one thing. Did you feel in this there is any truth that you arrived at?
So, which one?
In all of your understanding, in all of your journey, in all of your quest, and in all of your meeting the realized masters, did you come to an understanding of what is truth?
So, not in the sense I can put it in a word or a sentence or a paragraph, right? It is just that the mind, when the mind is not in picture, right? So I have this deep sense of oneness, right, beyond time and space, where this body just appears in that oneness, right? And then it does its thing. Right? The mind appears in that oneness, it does its thing, and everything else appears in that. It appears in me. For example, this whole thing is appearing in me. It is not that I am this body, I am looking through these eyes and I see. It's not. That's not the experience. Right? So that is when the mind is not in the picture. When the mind is in the picture now, it is more subservient to this truth. So it is like, wow, look at that. Right? So when you were describing about the king and the god and everything, it's like, wow, look at that, right? Describing me from this angle, right? So when I go to some other place, someone else describes it differently. Wow, look at that, right? Describing that one and me from this angle, right? So the mind is just blown away by the infinite creativity of...
Yes, so they are all different experiences.
Different descriptions of it, yeah.
Different descriptions and different experiences. The way I am putting it across, the way another teacher is putting it across, the way another realized human is putting it across, and the way another materialistic person is putting it across. Each one is putting across their experience. And here is one experiencer getting this experience and re-experiencing within the dynamics of who you are. When I am communicating my experience. You are receiving it and you are re-experiencing within the dynamics of who you are. So basically it's only a re-experiencing of all experiences happening within you.
When the mind is active, if the mind is not active,
Even when the mind is not active, the experience is a one of observation.
it just is, right?
Yeah, it just is, but it is receiving. It is having awareness of what I am saying, the way I look, the way I move my hands, everything it is observing. It is aware, but it is not processing it to any kind of next level.
It's not. So there is a person here who's moving his hand.
Yeah,
Right? He looks very calm. It is not processing anything.
it is not
It's
processing.
just pure.
And because it is not processing anything, what happens? The next moment is again new to you.
It is.
If it processes, now this one has, it imposes itself on the next moment, and the next moment is no more new. It is a continuation of what you processed as a conclusion into the next moment. So you have no conclusions with when the mind is not there. There are no conclusions. There is only observation, moment to moment to moment. Nothing you are catching, nothing you are processing, nothing you are fixing, nothing you are trying to understand.
No time, no space.
Yes,
nothing to understand.
till the mind comes in, then everything happens.
Correct.
And then again the mind drops and only the observer remains.
Yeah, I think that's it.
So basically what is happening is the observer rises, observer falls, mind rises, mind falls. And that's the only thing that is right now going on. In this, what is the truth?
Sorry, but when the observer rises, the mind cannot rise.
No, if this goes down, this goes down.
But when the observer
But
falls,
when the mind goes up, this falls.
Yeah.
Basically, it doesn't fall. It's just there, which is on the forefront. The mind is in the back end. It doesn't impose itself. When it comes in the forward, the observer does not impose itself. It allows the mind to do all the judgment, criticism. I know, I don't know. It is that and it is this. Right and wrong, good and bad, everything. And suddenly this comes into the back. Now, this is no more, and this is not a dominant experience. The dominant experience is of the observer. Basically, these are dominant experiences. That doesn't mean the other experiences have shut down. They are not in the conscious state.
sure.
Otherwise, every experience remains.
Yeah, because everything is happening, it's just whichever has the
But
most
some
energy.
becomes the dominant, right? So in this, the question is, what is the truth?
So at least the sense happens to be, to put it in words, right? This almost feels like a TV or a computer screen, right? So either you have an image on the screen, like a nice landscape or something, or the image goes away. You just have the blank pixels, right? So the if we have to say experience, then the experience happens to be, oh, all of this is coming into my experience. So it's modulating itself as this.
Yeah,
The color, the shapes, the sound.
it comes alive.
And then when it goes away, it goes away. So
Yes.
not as an experience, as in, oh, now I have.
Even that is an experience, just the pixels I'm seeing.
So now the understanding is yes. So I modulate myself into all of this scenery, right? Then it's demodulated, right? It's modulated, demodulated.
In that, what is the truth?
So my sense happens to be, the underlying truth happens to be,
But what is that underlying truth?
that is the substratum of myself is this.
But what is yourself?
There isn't a personal self. So for example,
Yeah, but there is no personal self, I understand. But what is the universal self?
the universal self, the only thing I can say happens to be, it is very intelligent, it is aware, it's self-aware, it knows it exists, right? So for example, when I experience something, right, a color, a shape, a emotion, a feeling, I experience it and I know that I experience it, right? So it is self-aware to that degree. it is self-aware that it does exist. So, for example,
So you're saying truth is self-aware, truth is intelligent, and anything more?
so anything more,
So-
I can't.
Okay, fine. So these are this almost covers everything. That it is self-aware and it is intelligent.
It is. So, intelligence, creativity.
Yeah, it includes, intelligence includes being also a creator,
The infinite.
because it also includes will, it also includes intention, it includes the whole gamut of it.
I would say,
Now, let's come down to a fundamental level of what truth is. Truth basically means that which always is. If it is not always, then it is not the truth. So, we call it mithya. Mithya doesn't mean that you are a liar, it just means it is not always. And satya means, or sat or satya, whatever, it means truth, that which always is. Having established that, I'm actually saying that unless you bring it into vocabulary, it means there is still lack of clarity. When the moment you have clarity, you will be able to bring it in vocabulary. So I established a fundamental ground of truth that cannot be disputed by anyone, that it always is, it is unchanging, it is eternal, and it is ever. If it stops existing, it is not truth. If it is changing, it is not truth. And if it is not forever, it is not truth.
I agree with
Three things.
Non-changing.
It cannot come into existence and go out of existence. It cannot change. And you cannot say it is for this much amount of time. It is eternal. So these are the fundamental qualities of what truth is.
Yes.
Now, the realized people who really got it, they said the truth is nothing but Brahman, because it is eternal, it is everywhere, it always is, it doesn't go out of existence and come into existence. And they couldn't get it that even Brahman goes out of existence. Why they couldn't get it? Because they don't know what Brahman is. They said it is everything. But saying it is everything doesn't say what it is. So at a certain point, the scriptures became, it couldn't really bring in the clarity that a common man can get it. So that is when the clarity was given to me that Brahman is not eternal. It goes out of existence. Therefore, Brahman cannot be the truth, because it is breaking two fundamental qualities of truth. How does Brahman go out of existence? And then question comes, what is Brahman? Brahman is the mind of the king. Just the way if I die, my mind goes out of existence. Similarly, when the king dies, the king's mind also goes out of existence. And when king's mind goes out of existence, everything disappears. So we say the Srishti or the creation comes to an end, and then a new creation begins. What is the beginning of this new creation? The king is born again. The king's mind starts becoming active, and within that mind, all the creation starts happening. Because of this thing that king is a mortal who has to die at one point of time, makes him unreal, makes him untruth. And if the king is not the truth, king's mind cannot be truth. And if king's mind cannot be truth, Brahman is not truth. And nowhere in any scripture or with any guru they could go beyond Brahman. So they said Brahman is the truth, because they couldn't go beyond. For a child, that toy car is the truth, because the child has not yet been exposed to the real car. So in the same way, the humans who have been in the pursuit of the truth. Ultimately what they said, you can access truth through experience. Unfortunately, experience rises and falls, how can it then access truth? How can you use something which is untrue to access and know the truth? Then they said you will touch the shore of the ocean and come back. But touching the shore of the ocean is not knowing the ocean, which means you still do not know the truth. You touched it at its periphery and you came back. So you still don't know what truth is.
But what is merging with the Creator mean?
No one ever merges.
No one ever merges.
They assume that there is an experience of oneness.
Yes.
But this oneness experience is also an experience. And every experience arises and falls. If someone is eternally in oneness, that one will never say I am in oneness, because he has no other experience apart from being oneness. Only the one who is not in oneness touches oneness and comes back and says there is an experience of oneness.
And only the one which is one with oneness continuously, that is the definition of truth.
No.
Cannot happen.
My question now is there anything in you that can know oneness? Is there anything in you?
I can only experience oneness.
I understand you can go and have an experience and come back. But can you know oneness?
No. I cannot know it.
Why you cannot know it?
Because there could be many experiences.
I understand there could be many experiences.
That oneness.
But why you cannot know oneness?
Because as you said, I think it is so infinite. He will just touch
No,
one part and
because you do not have anything in you to know oneness. Again, come back to what I told you what you are. Who am I? You are basically 5 things. Physical body, which cannot know oneness. The mind, which cannot know oneness. The personality, which cannot know oneness. Energy bodies, which doesn't care for oneness, neither communicates with you. Okay?
Yeah.
Now only one thing left.
Energy, what's the last one, sir?
Spirit.
5th one is the spirit.
So you are also spirit. Now this one is nothing but an extension of the matrix. What is matrix? Brahman. From the ocean rises a wave. From the Brahman rises a wave called Atman. From the matrix rises a wave called spirit and enters into a Jiva. That Jiva could be a human and it could be a COVID virus, and brings it into animation or life, because spirit gives the life force. Spirit programs the Jiva. Spirit makes the Jiva do what the spirit wants till the Jiva dies, and then spirit merges back into the Brahman. The wave falls back into the ocean.
So when we are above the mind and body, we can only...
With your mind, you cannot know the truth. With your body, you cannot know the truth. With your personality, you cannot know the truth. But these 3 are experiencing everything. Energy bodies don't experience. Spirit doesn't experience. And these 3 are concluding what the experience is. These 3 are trapped in the vocabulary of language. Spirit is not trapped. It has no language. Energy body is not trapped. It has no language. It is these 3 that wants to know the truth. It is these 3 that has all the experiences, materialistic, spiritual. And it is these 3 that says, I have found, having found nothing. And what is it that they say I have found? Number 1, it feels it got sorted because it is now having no desires. Number into it feels it is now blissful. So first is peace, second is bliss, and the third is awareness, which means mind is no more disturbing this personality, and this personality has now settled in the awareness. And in that set,
Desires and third one is
peace, bliss, and awareness.
lack of desires.
Peace comes from lack of wanting. Bliss comes when you have transcended the world and merged into a state of deep ecstasy. Yet that is not who you are. That is only an experience. Peace is only an experience. Bliss is only an experience. And awareness can be internal, or it can be external, or it can be both, and yet is an experience. Because you are aware that you have awareness. You are aware that you are observing.
So even going behind the watcher, or
So now someone says, you are the one who is observing the observer.
Yes.
So first they said you are the observer, which is that first state. Now when you come into that third state, now you are observing the observer,
Yes.
because your awareness has expanded, and in that expansion you are also seeing the observer, observing that glass, observing the wall.
That's the third stage. That's the third awareness stage. But that's also an experience.
That also is an experience.
So what Ravana says, he calls the third stage as the self-realized state.
You are not yet self-realized. You see, until and unless you know the game of the energy bodies, which Ravana never talked about, I do not know whether he knew or not, because his language was not English. What he communicated and what those English guys understood, what they wrote, maybe there was a big gap and maybe there was no gap, but I am assuming maybe they didn't get it. And maybe there is lot of things Ramana felt, why waste my time talking about all these things to these people? So he just kept on saying, go and find out who you are. So this thing called the truth doesn't exist. It doesn't exist within the experiences. When your first energy body gets activated, you are in a state of peace. Second energy body gets activated, you are in a state of bliss. Third energy body gets activated, you are in a state of awareness. Fourth energy body gets activated, you are now having supernatural powers, siddhis. You can do many things which others will call as miracles. So many of the gurus have those things. Their fourth body is activated. They can think and make things happen.
Yes.
But you're still in the realm of the experience. You're still in that place of wanting to change something, fix something. The person who is in peace wants peace. The person who is in bliss wants bliss. The person who is in awareness wants to keep on becoming aware of everything. And the person who is having powers, they want to play with their powers. Their intentions are good. That person is so sick, you are now healed. That person is so miserable, you are now healed. I am not saying they are misusing their powers, but they are still trying to fix a reality which is unreal, as if it is real.
I've always viewed it as their compassion.
How can you have compassion? Do you have any compassion for your shadow? Then why do you have compassion for all the shadows that are running around? Because when you really examine them, you find they are nothing more than shadows. Why are they shadows? Why do I call them shadows? Now let me explain. Your shadow comes into existence because of this body and something projecting which gets obstructed and the shadow gets created. Right?
Yes.
Now come into the real world. You came into existence because someone wrote a script, and then someone said, I will animate that script. And because that one decided that I will animate that script, there arose a body, there arose a mind, and there arose a personality. All three created according to the storyline by the spirit. And then the spirit makes you dance. Now I come into place. And coming into place, what do? I say, you are so miserable. Out of my compassion, as if, or let me put it this way, you go to a puppet show, there is a puppet dancing, one puppet is banging the other one. Do you really have a compassion for that puppet to go and drag the one banging the other one back like this? No, you are observing. Because you know there is someone from the above pulling the strings and making them bang. So why don't you have compassion there and you have compassion here? Because you feel that there is free will, that poor guy tried his best to make his life better, couldn't do it. I have the power, let me sort out his life. You forgot someone is making him dance. You forgot that he is a puppet. You forgot that he has no existence of his own. You forgot that someone is making him believe that you exist and you can do what you want to do. That is when people have compassion. That is when people have kindness. That is when people want to reach out. Here is a packet of food. Here is a set of clothes. And I'm not saying don't do all this thing. That's not, I don't tell people how they should live. I'm only coming from a fundamental question. You are after truth. Do you know what is the truth? And do you think you can get the truth?
No, I think everyone only creates a definition.
Exactly.
Of what the truth means to them.
My truth is.
Yes.
No one says the truth.
Correct.
Because if it is the truth, it has to be everyone's truth.
Correct. At least right now, the way it is working is that people create a definition of what truth means to them based on reading.
But then they have to understand that there cannot be my truth.
Correct.
If it is truth, it cannot be my truth. If it is truth, it is the truth. And the truth has three parameters. It has to exist. It cannot go out of existence at any given point in time. It has to be eternal. And what was the third one?
It has to exist, eternal and constant. Eternal is constant. Self-aware.
No. It is eternal. It has to always exist. And
Intelligent.
no, not intelligence.
It has to be forever. It is not changing. It has to be eternal.
It is not changing
Eternal, not changing,
and not going out of existence.
correct.
So these three things constitute what a truth is, and no one can dispute these three things. You cannot bring in a fourth thing, and you cannot take out a single thing out of this. And if it is so, and if you are going after truth, if you are wanting truth, if you are wanting to know the truth, the question then that is being asked, who are you? And why do you think you can even know the truth? Oh, the master said it's possible.
No, it feels more like even birthright feels very much independent. It feels like it's the most common thing and most widely known is what that is.
Yes, whatever it feels like,
Yeah.
again come to know, is only a thought, is only a feeling, is only an emotion, and all three are being put in you to make you dance.
In a particular way.
It can make you spiritual, it can make you religious, it can make you materialistic, it can make you scientific, it can make you philosophical. But it is making you dance, all the three.
But is it a thought, feeling, and emotion?
I have got a deep feeling that I know, but it's a feeling.
Yeah.
I think I know. It's a thought. So then if truth is beyond your feeling, if truth is beyond your thoughts, and truth is beyond your emotions, what are the faculty that you have to discern truth? Because all experiences are within these three.
Yeah, we don't have a faculty to it.
And if you don't have a faculty, then why you are making a journey towards truth? Why are you trying to find out truth? And why do you believe anyone has ever found the truth? Because even that guy also has only these three things.
Because it is only because it has only been said that once someone transcends these three.
But transcending is just transcending dimensions.
Yeah,
You are transcending one set of programming of your personality, which now is no more disturbing you, and you are sorted out, and you are assuming that you are now ready to know the truth.
Yeah, correct.
But that's not true.
Correct. It's a pursuit almost. It's almost.
No, it is, first thing, there is no clarity of understanding of what truth is. You see, if I am very clear, I cannot be underwater more than 1 minute, I wouldn't want ever to be like a fish. Now you will say, no, it's possible. I'll take an oxygen tank and I will have all those things on my nose and I will breathe oxygen. But you are not a fish, just only a scuba diver. So in the same way, when you do not have a faculty to know the truth, why are you running after truth?
I will tell you only my personal side. I am running after truth because there is just an experience that the action is not coming from a place of.
If you notice, you again brought in, there is an experience.
Yes, it is an experience.
So experience is not what will take you to the truth. Understanding is again a thought. It will not take you to the truth. First thing, you are struggling to language it.
Yeah.
Even if you language it, it still doesn't take you to the truth.
I guess the simplest way to put it is to find ease in the flow of life. I think that is why.
Subject to, it is in the storyline. If it is not in the storyline, you wouldn't even find peace. You will never be sorted out. You will never stop running. You will keep on going one master to another master in a storyline. It has been sorted out. So he has now settled where he is with what he is and how he is. There is no quest left in him, unless again the spirit brings him another thought which is so powerful that he again runs.
No, the biggest difference, sir, is that part, what you said about if it's in the storyline. Because the base assumption for most people, like including me, is that finding the truth will allow me to stay in a place of ease. That there is a direct belief system there, or what's been dogmatically been preached through religion, through spirituality, through all these methods. It's just been.
So I tell people, listen, you really want peace? Very simple. Find out every thought that creates a wanting. And the moment you identify that thought, disengage with that thought. Just say to that thought, I don't want what you want. Another thought. Again you are wanting something, identified that thought, bring in another thought. I don't want that. You are cutting thought with thought. Keep on doing it day in, day out. And one day you will be left with no thoughts, which means no wantings.
I see. So if I want to buy a handbag, you say,
Oh, I don't want to buy a handbag.
I don't want to buy a
Which is only a thought.
It's only a thought.
The other one was also a thought.
Just say the opposite.
Now, if you keep on doing it for a sufficiently long time, suddenly you will find no thought is coming up because they find they are not being entertained. But that also will not be possible. because spirit will not allow you to bring that other thoughts, because all thoughts are coming from the spirit. So maybe you will never be able to bring the opposite thought, maybe you will be able to bring it for a certain amount of time, and maybe the previous thought was so dominant that your second thought cannot cancel it.
Or maybe the third is like what Arvind does is to see it from a distance. So then it's not.
He can do that because the spirit allowed the observer portion of him to come up. For most humans, the observer portion is not there. And what is the observer? The observer is not the physical body. It is not the mind. It is not the personality. It definitely is not the energy bodies. The only thing left is now spirit. It is the spirit observing. And spirit is giving you the experience of that observing effect happening.
I see.
It has to give the experience, otherwise how will you come to know? I am observing. But the observer is the spirit.
Yes.
But when it activates, it is the spirit when it activates the third body. You come into a place of greater awareness. And from that place of greater awareness, you now see an observer observing the world.
Oh, I see. One more stage back.
Right now you have a small awareness in which you are observing.
Yes.
But you are still not aware of the observer. It's only in the greater awareness that you become aware of the observer, observing the world and not entangling with the world.
And that cannot be achieved through practice.
No way. Not even the first part, not even the second, and none of the others.
Wow. So that's only if it's. So that is the gap in the current assumption.
Not gap, that is the lack of understanding in the current assumption that you can make it happen. My efforts can make something happen is the thing.